How often do you recommend doing this practice? So this particular practice is more of an exploration where you explore different throughout the body, more of meditative. You could realistically do this practice every day if you really wanted, but once a week as a reset is really good. But a breathing practice, even if it's a very simple one, like 30 conscious breaths in the morning, where you're just breathing from your diaphragm, I recommend daily, just so you become aware and take charge of your system. We spend 2 minutes brushing our teeth, and that's just our teeth. Breathing can transform our whole body and our whole state. So at least spend a few minutes every day on our breath, I always recommend. But this particular practice, which is more of a longer journey going through, once a week's great, but it can be done as many times as you like. Felt tingly. Great. Yes, tingling sensations can enter within the body as we're changing the carbon dioxide within the system. So these tingling sensations can happen. If we go into more intense experiences, we can sometimes increase these sensations and have more outer body experiences, or go within these and get emotional releases that can come through. Lots of energy around me. Fantastic. Yeah, this can open up other faculties of the mind too. So you can notice more energy that's around you. And when you get really conscious of this, you always notice the oxygen, not just coming through the nose and through the mouth, because sometimes we say, I know what breathing is. No, we know the sensations of breath. Breath in itself is such an intelligence, the way that it converts within our body, what it does. So yeah, amazing that you feel that. That was great. Feel more relaxed by the experience. Thank you, Jordan. My pleasure, Barbara. My pleasure. I'm very glad that you feel more relaxed. Thank you, Jordan. Is it to be expected that you feel a bit lightheaded with the deeper breaths? Yes, that is to be expected. Of course, there's a plus and downside to that. So with training, as the nervous system gets stronger and the efficiency of the inhales and the exhales, what normally happens, lightheaded happens because we breathe in deeply and our exhales are very strong. So it's like so we're changing up the carbon dioxide and the oxygen levels, and it can lead to slight lightheadedness. Sometimes we want to evoke this purposefully, on purpose. So it was okay today. So if you had that, that's not a bad thing whatsoever. It helps us drop out. And sometimes it's over oxygen within the bodies, different sensations. But it's completely normal, completely natural. It will come back. In a few moments, you'll probably already start to feel normal again. One thing I will say to everyone is hydrate yourself after this experience. Really hydrate yourself. But yeah, that's completely normal. If you're feeling lightheaded from your general everyday breathing, now this means that you're not breathing efficiently. But from this, in that particular one, especially when we're breathing from this center, that was likely to happen. I felt tingly and cool and felt completely relaxed. We got a lot of people feeling tingly. Is it normal eyes to be watering and have tears? 100%. Sometimes with deeper experience, especially one-to-one practices, when we can go deeper with the individual, we do get floods of tears. Tears come through. Sometimes I've done this experience and I was someone who, men don't cry, I don't cry, this thing from here. I was the sort of person I couldn't even cry at my dad's funeral. And through breath work, I've had many experiences where I'm just bawling my eyes out. And sometimes because I'm happy, sometimes because I've released an emotional thing, and sometimes just tears because it's liberating energy. Tears are just liberating energy. When you look at the scientific reason of what tear is, it's a liberation of energy. So that's a nice way of looking at it too. You're just liberating energy. So sometimes that's happy feelings, not so happy feelings, whatever's going through, we're liberating this. So tears coming through the eyes is fantastic. So it's very normal. Thank you so much. Great to have taken time to focus on the breath. Helps anxiety. We are all feeling 100%. So the breath is the foundation. It can always bring us back to is the most fundamental part of who we are and our experience with the outside world. So the breath connects us to our inner and outer world. So when we take charge of this, we're able to find that we hear a lot of people say, find your peace within the chaos. And that's great, but how do we do that? Well, breath is a tool that can help us with that. Thank you for connecting us all through breath. Thank you for joining and taking your time to connect yourself through the breath. So thank yourself. Loved and thanks. What would be good breath to start lessons? Once this is done, I imagine I will have a lot of just very kids in front of me. I usually use music, but I'd like to just do a quick breath start. Thanks. I have things that I'm happy to send forward, things that you can just do to start with, or everyday practices. Like for example, I have some practices like coffee breathing, just a breath where you can do daily that helps energize you. Whiskey breath, a breath work that can help feel relaxed and just chilled out. breath work that, because obviously if you change your rhythm, if you're breathing more from the right nostril or the left nostril, depending on how you want to feel and what's going on. But the easiest way, the number one, I would say the number one place to start is just bring your hands here and just do 30 breaths a day where you practice deep diaphragmatic breathing, nice and gentle. That's number one practice. And then from there, you can advance it. If you change up your rhythms, so you breathe, for example, if you want to feel more relaxed, you want to slow down your breathing rate. So you double the exhale to the inhale. So for example, 4 seconds inhale, 8 seconds exhale. If you continue to do this, you'll bring yourself into the parasympathetic nervous system, you'll bring yourself into rest and renew, and you will feel more relaxed, more calmer. If you want to energize the system, then we want to bring more breaths per minute. So stronger breaths here. So if you want to feel relaxed, slow your breath down. If you want to feel energized, we increase the breath. Thank you, Jordan. If you suddenly feel congested at night, how can you release it? That's a good one, very good one. So if you start in the sinuses, you start feeling all congested in here. There's actually many techniques you can do to release the congestion. In the daytime, there's some ones that are more efficient, like very cleansing breaths that you can really clear that congestion. But I would say at nighttime, you feel very congested in the airways. Breathe, funny enough, even though it feels like you don't want to because it's congested here, breathe through the nose. Breathe through the nose. For me, especially, I felt this. When I first broke my nose, I've broke it twice now. Luckily, the second time helped improve it. I used to be so congested, it felt like I constantly had a cold. But as you breathe strongly through the nose, try and break it, like almost like you're trying to break through the barrier, right? Real strong breaths. And then, but because it's nighttime, you're trying to sleep, extra long, relaxing exhales. So strong, break through that barrier, and then really long exhales through the nose or through the mouth. Thank you, Jordan. If you had such a profound experience today, thank you, Jordan. I'm a breathwork coach myself, and I've reminded me of the importance of doing this deeper for myself. Oh, amazing. So it's nice to see that there was also someone who's coaching breathwork. I like to see that there's so many people coaching breathwork as well at the moment. So many different styles, so many different people coaching different techniques. And I'm glad that you was able to join and do the breathwork yourself. So I also enjoy going in other breathwork facilitators sessions as well, because a breath's so powerful to do ourselves. So for me, like, I'm a bit crazy with the breath. I never expect anyone I ever work with to do the amount of breath work I do, but I probably do like 3 hours every day, roughly. That's like the minimum, right? The minimum for me is like an hour of breath work. I do 3 hours of breath work, and I'm constantly working on breath, working with the breath day to day when I'm moving around. I take it to the complete extremes. I sort of have that, I do that typically in my life, but yeah. Anyways, thank you, John. I find it difficult to switch off and relax. My mind is always rushing. I feel so relaxed, peaceful, and positive now. Oh, amazing. So even through this, it can sometimes, if it's your first time, it can still be challenging to sometimes switch off and completely let the mind go. But I'm glad that you noticed through this, you was able to do so. The breath can help us fall into that. So meditation and breath work go hand in hand. Even though I call this experience more of an inner exploration rather than a meditation, breath is a massive part of helping you meditate. For example, as you meditate and you relax your mind, you actually change the way you breathe, whether you realize it or not. So if you change the way you breathe first, it's a great way to drop us into these more meditative states and to change our brainwave states. So normally in the day, especially if we've had a coffee, we're like high beta. So we're high, we're hyper, we want to go forward. Breath work can help us be here, calm that into alpha brainwaves, so we're more relaxed, more chilled out. It can even bring us into theta brainwaves, which are the dream world, the dreamlike world, and it can bring us into delta, which is the sleeping state. And it can actually shown to bring us into gamma, which is all light, all information, which are these profound experiences that people discuss and talk about. Thank you, very powerful, but I'm sorry, only caught the end of it, sadly. No apology, at least you was able to catch some of it, and I'm glad you still enjoyed it. Which technique do you recommend to help improve mental clarity and agility? It's tough to answer that as in just because there's so many different. I'd probably need a bit more information of what you mean and what you're looking for. But it depends what you mean by in terms of the clarity and agility around, in terms of you wanting to be energetic or you wanting to be more calm and relaxed. But anytime you take conscious control of the breath anyway. That's going to help that. So sorry that I can't answer that question fully, but what is best when diaphragm is tight? So again, if I was working with you specifically, there's different things you can do, like acupressure to help open up this. We can open up different parts, so we can open up your diaphragm and move through here. But what's best is just to go feel into your own body, take charge of your own system and feel what's comfortable. So still try and breathe from the diaphragm, but even if you can't breathe as deeply, like really open it up just as much as you can, and almost like you're trying to breathe from every part of your beingness. So it starts from here, so it's lower down, not too low in the stomach, because that can leave us feeling quite lethargic and lower energy, but into the stomach. But just try and expand as much as you feel you can, and in time, this even can help increase that. Great.